have been in love with Africa since a child. I've always wanted to go to Africa. I grew up in the church, and people wanted to go to Israel. And I would say, I want to go to Africa. And they would tell me that Africa was sin. You know, referring to Egypt. And I said, well, I want to go see the sin. So, as an adult, I had a chance to do my own research, do my own investigation of the truth, because I understood that history didn't give me the whole history of Africa, so I took time to study and to read. And when I was 38, I had two friends who went to Senegal, and they came back and had a reception. And they showed their wares and pictures, and I decided when I turned 40, I was going to go to Senegal. Well, I ended up going when I turned 40 with 29 other people I didn't know, but it was okay. We left from Baltimore, we rode to New York, and then flew into Dakar. And I remember when the plane was coming in the airport, I was excited because I was going home. I felt like it was a spiritual experience for me. And when we actually got off the plane, which we got off and walked to the air, to the terminal, and when we got out on the other side, there were drummers drumming. And what I found out is when they find people coming to Senegal, especially African Americans, the drummers come to the airport and drum. I literally wanted to bend down on the ground and kiss them, because I felt like I was home. And that experience was a wonderful experience. I heard my brothers and sisters say, "Welcome home." And some of them said, "We didn't know where you went. We didn't know what happened to you, but welcome home." And that felt so good. And in Senegal, when you greet someone, you say, "Hi, how are you?" And you look at them because you acknowledge and you see them. You ask how they're doing. You ask how their family's doing. You ask how their health is. You ask how their family's health is. You ask how the well-being of their family unit is. So that's all in the greeting. And I found that fantastic because that's really acknowledging you and acknowledging your family and your community. And I found Senegal to be, the people were very warm. I had some experiences where we stopped off at one village and a young girl came and put her head on my shoulder. And I thought, well, this is unique. Well, when I developed the pictures, I looked like her.
Oh, wow.
And then we went to another village. And, I jumped off the bus with my 5 lines of Wolof. And a lady came out and she brought me a homemade kora, which is one of the guitars. And she had her daughter come out because she spoke English. And the women surrounded me in a circle. And I asked the tour guide, "What's going on?" He said, "No, they're honoring you as an African woman." They took their head wraps and threw them at my feet. I thought I had ascended straight into another place. And that was something I could never experience in America. just feeling like these were my brothers and sisters. They were glad to see me. There was no, you know, I was told that Africans don't like African Americans. That's a colonial lie. That's a lie. They're actually glad when we come home. And interesting, on that first trip, everybody saw somebody who looked like a relative. They were like, stop the bus, there goes cousin so-and-so. Stop the bus, there goes cousin so-and-so. And it was wonderful because they were able, we were at a restaurant and they were able to go around the restaurant and tell us where our people came from based on how we carry ourselves, how we look, our features, you know. And when I developed my pictures from that first trip, I was told I was Wolof and Fulani. And I took a picture of my grandmother, my mother, myself, and the Wolof people. And we definitely have Wolof. And Fulani I didn't see so much, but I believe them because they study themselves. We're the only people that don't study ourselves like that. So I came back to Baltimore and went to one of the African-centered stores, and a brother from Jamaica said, "You've been kissed by Mother Earth." He said, "You've been to Africa. You look like you've been to Africa." He said, "Did you find out what your tribes were?" And he said, Wolof and Fulani. So I said, well, that's it. You know, that confirms it. My other two trips were more personal. I had met some people there and were able to go and stay with them. So staying in a house is a whole nother situation than staying in a hotel. And I loved it. I loved eating on the floor from the bowl, you know, washing your hands and eating from the bowl, and having the eldest person put the food near where you're sitting. So the eldest person does that. And when you want more food, you ask them to give you more food. The young kids, when they came in, they curtsied and they bowed because I was an elder. So they were real serious about the children honoring the elders. And the second and third trip, when I went, I made sure I took gifts so that whenever I went to someone's house, I had gifts for the older person. I did my own research on what would be offensive and would not, and how not to be offensive. Because American people are very offensive when they go to other countries. So, you know, I got to meet people. One trip, a lady who lived in Baltimore, Nabu, had gone to Senegal. And she brought me around to people's houses. And she told me, girlfriend, don't say anything. Let them check your heart out. And, you know, as Americans, we do a lot of talking. I this and I that and we this and we. And I didn't say anything. And they ended up telling me about myself. And I found that to be fascinating. And they were just feeling my heart. And by the way I acted, my education. And what they meant by education is how my parents raised me. That was education to them. Not schooling and degrees, but how you treated people, how you spoke to people. And it was wonderful. Whenever we stopped somewhere, I was hugging people and they were hugging me and we were dancing and all kind of things. You know, in America, my butt might be too big. I'm too big. But in Africa, they like this. And so I decided to put on my lapper skirts and walk, you know, and shimmy down the road and do things because it's something that they appreciate. They appreciate the built. They appreciate the big butt. They appreciate the things that America doesn't appreciate here, are things that they appreciate. And it was a Muslim country, but they just wanted to know, is there anything they needed to do for me when I prayed, when I did something? Did I need to wash up a certain way? Just very open, very, it was a good feeling. Each time it was a good feeling. Because I got to connect with the people.
Isoke.